Good afternoon, Bob Saban here at Fitness Together in Ashland. Thanks again for joining us on Workshop Wednesday. This week, we're going to be talking about rolling patterns. Talk about rolling, the Turkish Get-Up. And the reason why I wanted to talk about that today is because over the last several weeks, we've been looking at not only different movement patterns, but more importantly, the core. So we've been training the core over the last couple of weeks, demonstrating some exercises. And today I wanted to take a step back, talk about how we even get to that point and why the ability to roll is so important as we develop and as we look at exercises as well. So just to kind of start out, first of all, rolling, and I'll demonstrate those exercises in just a bit. But the idea of rolling, if you think back to developmental patterns, and how we develop from infancy to adulthood. You think about an infant when they're on the ground and when they're learning to move for the first time. The first thing they do is their eyes kind of track you a little bit, and then their head turns some, and then the next thing you know, as they're reaching, boom, they roll over. Right? And so, it's like I said, a developmental pattern. But the reason why an infant would do something like that is they're starting to establish the ability to connect their eyes, their head, their neck to their arms and their torso, and ultimately to their lower body. And all in time, what they're doing is developing rotational stability and core strength. So what you'll see when I demonstrate the exercises is that as we're rolling over, if you think about the primary muscle groups that we typically use in most of our exercises, things like your chest, your pecs, your lats on your back, your quads, your glutes, your hamstrings, all the real big muscles that most people train when they work out. The ability to roll involves really none of those muscles as prime movers. You have to start to think about the deep internal muscles, things that Ashley and I were talking about over the last couple of weeks. And just as a reminder, I will pop those up for you. So these are some of the things that we've been talking about the last few weeks, where in your abdomen, you have things like the internal and external abdominal obliques, transverse abdominis, and the rectus abdominis. And then there's also, this idea of the lateral subsystem, or the pelvic floor area. So these are all muscles that make up your deep interior core, and muscles that, when it comes to rolling, become very important in order to be able to do that. As we start to develop, as I said, when you start to develop that rotational stability, a child will then begin to crawl, okay, and then ultimately be able to stand up and walk. And you think about that weight shift. Right? Whenever we're weight shifting, we have to stabilize our body in order to do so properly and efficiently. Okay. So just to start off, I'll show you a little video that I recorded earlier of an upper body roll, where my lower body, you'll notice, is stationary, right? And then I'm just using my upper body to generate that movement. So I'll show you that. Starting with the arms overhead, feet hip width apart. You want to reach up across your body, your eyes follow your hand, lower body stays still, and you reach across until you roll over. Coming back the other way, reach up and around with the arm, eyes look up, lower body stiff, and follow through back to the floor. So I apologize if maybe the audio wasn't great on that, but I think you get the idea that it's just reaching over and being able to turn your body without using your arms or your legs very much. Now, I recorded that earlier because that actually is a lot harder than it looks for a lot of people, right? And again, when some of the exercises that we demonstrate over the past few weeks, some of the chopping and lifting motions aren't really possible to do correctly until you can really establish that baseline movement pattern. So that's one way to do an upper body rolling drill. There's also a lower body rolling drill where you're stabilizing your upper body and your arms and using your legs to generate that movement. So I'll show you that next. Draw the knee towards the chest, drape it across, Keep the upper body stiff and let your weight follow through. Coming back around, lift the leg, pull it across, keep the upper body stiff, and the weight will follow through, taking you back over. So again, you can see the difference there between when you're just using your lower body to generate that movement and the upper body. And as I said before, breathing is also very important here. So those deep muscles, your diaphragm, as you're taking that deep breath in and exhaling, that'll help drive that leg over as well. And just to reiterate what I had said earlier is that the importance of this is that when you can establish that rotational stability, and as your arms are moving, let's assume you're walking or running or playing a sport that involves some rotation or that stiffness of the core in order to generate force and power, these drills here can help establish those things and move you on to bigger progressions. Other progressions that we talk about, and I didn't demonstrate in an earlier video, would be things like a bear crawl. And that would be with your knees up off the ground in a crawling pattern like you'd see an infant do or a child do, but again, just with the knees elevated off the ground. I kind of skipped ahead here a little bit because I did want to show you the Turkish Get-Up today. And we've talked a lot about the Turkish Get-Up in prior broadcasts that we've done here. So I want to make sure that you got a good vision of what that is. And the reason why we like the Turkish Get-Up so much is because it involves not only that rolling pattern, but also several other patterns involved in motion as well. So we can get kind of a pushing or a stabilization pattern out of the shoulder. We can get some rotation out of the torso, some bridging using our glutes a little bit more. And then ultimately, as we get up off the floor, using our quads a little bit more, right, our legs to drive the body upward. But you'll see that in the next video here. Starting with one knee bent, arm raised up towards the ceiling, the other leg out 45 degrees along with the arm. We're going to roll towards the bottom side, digging the elbow into the ground, rolling, using that elbow to come up to a seated position. Pivot to the hand, digging that into the floor for shoulder stability. We're going to use the left foot now to drive the hips up, pulling the right leg through, keeping the left arm towards the ceiling, moving to a half kneel, positioning the feet to stand up tall. Reversing direction, reverse lunge, down to the knee, rotate the hip, position the hand, shoulder stability, other arm straight up towards the ceiling, still looking at the hand. Bring the leg through, lower to the hip, to the elbow, to the ground. Well, there you go. So finally, you've got to look at what the Turkish Get-Up looks like. Now, I know that looks like a complex movement, but there are so many smaller pieces that go into that, and that's why I showed the rolling first. We do a lot of different exercises that help build into that pattern. But as I said before, what's really great about it is that it shows you all the different elements really necessary to safely get up off the ground. So we have a lot of clients that come to us, and that's one of their biggest concerns is their inability now as they've aged to get up safely off the ground, or they've injured themselves trying to do so. So even though that looks like a very difficult movement, when we break it down into its parts, it becomes a very essential way of teaching people how to safely get up off the ground. Now, the other reason why I wanted to show that exercise today is because I want to issue a little bit of a challenge to everybody. And I wanted to first thank our Fitness Together studios out in Burlington and Melrose. They actually gave me this idea the other day. I want to issue a challenge. So what I'm going to do today, I recorded the other videos, but this you're going to see live. So hopefully I don't screw it up. This is going to be the Turkish Get-Up, and we're going to use the symbol of COVID-19, the toilet paper roll. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 3 of these rolls and challenge myself first to see if I can get up and not lose the toilet paper rolls. All right, so here we go. Let's give it a shot. Okay. You guys should all be able to see me there. I've been practicing this all day, so hopefully we got it. All right. I'm going to position my toilet paper up high here. Roll to my elbow. Up. Bridge. Through. Here it goes. Moment of truth. All right. Coming down. See if we can stick the landing here. There you go. Look at that. All right. Oh, look at that. I had an audience and I didn't even know it. So there you go. That's what a Turkish Get-Up looks like with some toilet paper rolls. Here's my challenge to you. I want you to get your toilet paper, try a Turkish Get-Up, right, and submit the video. This is the important part. You want to submit the video to our Facebook page, Fitness Together Ashland and Southborough. Submit that video. See how many rolls you can get. See if you can beat my 3. Everybody that submits a video will get 1 free virtual training session. The person who gets the most toilet paper rolls is going to get a little special prize, and we'll announce that later. But start working on your videos, submit them to Facebook, Fitness Together Ashland and Southborough, and I can't wait to see them. In the meantime, that's it for today. We'll see everybody for bingo on Friday and for our next Q&A on Monday. Have a great day.